Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So we're going to talk about Pete Alonso again, one more time. Talk about him more now than the 6 years he's been here. My God. But what else is there to talk about, really? We're going to have pitchers and catchers a week from now. So it's going to be, that's what we'll talk about. And I would mention, I've seen some of the new uniforms the Mets are going to be wearing. Not bad. The pinstripe down. They got the racing stripe down the sides. I love that. But there was a suggestion by SI, which I'm not too high on. Both these things are from SI. Second part of this, it's not me. I'm against this idea. Let's go. On the first part, SI. Insider says Mets were never out on Pete Alonso. One MLB insider got honest about last month's reports that the Mets were pivoting away from pursuing Pete Alonso. Okay. With each passing day, it seems that some MLB insiders speculating whether Pete Alonso will return to the Mets after testing the free agency waters this offseason. Recent sentiment in this regard stemmed from USA Today's MLB insider Bob Nightingale, who wrote in a January 31st article, All-Star first baseman Pete Alonso, who badly wants to return to the Mets, while the club insists they want him back too, must decide whether he's going to swallow his pride and take the Mets' 3-year offer for about $70 million. Now, as you know, SNY's little Andy Martino said that the Blue Jays were on the 10-yard line. I want to point out something. The running back got tripped up at the 1-yard line in that deal. And Pete realized, I don't want to play for them. I got a chance to win the World Series with the Mets in the next few years. Blue Jays finished last, folks, and they finished 14 games under 500 last year. But don't worry. They signed Max Scherzer. Nightingale's words on there, being mutual interest in a reunion between Alonso and the Mets, has more or less been the consensus all offseason. That is aside from a period in mid-January when several insiders asserted the Mets pivoted away from pursuing Alonso after the two sides were unable to reach a deal amid another round of negotiations. It has since become clear, despite these reports, the two sides are back speaking on terms. And in a February 3rd article, SNY's MLB's insider Little Andy discussed where last month's reports about the Mets pivoting went awry. Quote, on January 16th, I was one of several reporters who heard and relayed that the Mets expected Pete Alonso to sign elsewhere. Oh, but you were wrong, Little Andy. You were wrong. Got everybody upset. He was wrong. According to league sources, the organization reached that conclusion because Alonso turned down their offer of a 3-year contract that contained opt-outs included for money that would have elevated the total to well over $70 million. If he said no to that, the Mets thought he might have a better deal elsewhere. But now it's February, and Alonso's still a free agent. Mets' most recent signings left some room in their expanding budget for another addition. Clearly, the team's pivot was not a slam door. But, Little Andy, you said that was it. He said it. Maybe you shouldn't use a football analogy. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he doesn't understand what the 10-yard line means. I don't know. Now let's go on. That's sarcasm, folks. There ever was. Now this idea is not my idea, and I don't think this is a good idea at all. I guess from SI, this is Pat Ragazzo. Does a good job. This is not a good. Pat is not a good idea. Headline: Ex-Yankees first baseman Anthony Rizzo makes sense for Mets under this condition. There's no conditions. Okay. Other Mets should take a flyer on ex-Yankees first baseman Anthony Rizzo, who is still a free agent with spring training 2 weeks away. Not a good idea. The Mets should add a first baseman and another starting pitcher before opening day. They want to make themselves the favorites in the NL East. I understand the Dakota projections had the Mets win 88 to 89 games. That's about right. That's without Pete Alonso. And finishing 3 games behind the Braves. That doesn't mean they will do it. The reality is the Mets at least right now, seem to feel comfortable with what they currently have in the pitching starting to look to upgrade. Supplement for injuries of fill holes at the trade deadline. As for first base, the Pete Alonso saga continues. So let's just say for a moment that Pete Alonso bolts for the Blue Jays. This isn't a team, but we'll say Blue Jays. And the Mets don't trade for a first baseman such as Ryan Mountcastle, which I don't mind. He's pretty good. Spencer Torkelson, whose batting average so far in the majors, or Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, folks, is 33 years old. And if the Rays are moving him, let the buyer beware, stay away from him. All right-handed bats they have been discussing as replacement options. There's another route they can go. No. The Mets could decide to stick with what they have internally. Mark Vientos, Ronnie Mauricio. We mentioned Ronnie Mauricio is now getting on the field. Luis Angel Acuna and Brett Beatty. Should they roll with this blueprint to begin the regular season? It would make some sense to take a flyer on veteran free agent first baseman Anthony Rizzo. No. Rizzo's 35 has been hampered by injuries the past 2 seasons, which has greatly hindered his performance. In 23, he got off to a red-hot start offensively, but a late May collision at first with Fernando Tatis Jr. on a pickoff attempt derailed the rest of his campaign. Yeah, because he got a concussion, and the Yankees were so stupid, they didn't realize he had a concussion. He hurt his neck. Last season, Rizzo fractured his forearm in June and was out until September. Now, I was going over his numbers. His numbers over the last 3 seasons are so woeful. In the last 2 years, his OPS plus is below an average player. This is not a good idea. Sorry. He is a very good clubhouse guy. He's a very good defensive player. But you're going to get nothing out of him offensively. His better days are long over. Long over. He should not be considered at all. And J.D. Martinez, and they mentioned J.D. Martinez in this article. In 2023, J.D. Martinez drove in 100 runs. Okay, Anthony Rizzo has not driven 100 runs in quite a few years. 5-6 years, whatever it is, before the pandemic season. So he is not what he used to be. And if you're going to play him, you're going to bat him 7th, you're going to bat him 8th. There's no purpose having him here, taking at bats from my young guys that I'd rather see play than see him play. I don't want to see him play. He's had a good career. He's had a very legendary career with the Cubs, but he's past his prime, and I don't think the Mets or any team should really give him a shot. Unless you're desperate like the White Sox need help, with everything, that's a team that should go after him, but the Mets shouldn't touch him. But you let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And, of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.